What's up, fellow digital wanderers? Welcome to Game Talkies, where we dive deep into the gaming universe like we're exploring our own personal open world. I am Josh, and today we're talking about something that gets my dopamine receptors firing faster than finding a legendary loot drop. Upcoming open world games that could absolutely dominate the Game of the Year conversation. 2025 and 2026 are shaping up to be absolutely bonkers for open world games. We're talking about a lineup that's more stacked than my Steam library during a summer sale. So grab your favorite beverage, settle into your gaming chair, and let's explore some digital landscapes that might just redefine what we expect from interactive entertainment. And hey, before we dive in, if you're the type of person who gets excited about virtual worlds you can spend 200 hours in and still discover new secrets, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. It's like fast travel for getting more gaming content, but way more satisfying. Kicking off our list is Where Winds Meet, and let me tell you, this game is like if Ghost of Tsushima had a baby with Red Dead Redemption, and that baby was raised by ancient Chinese philosophers. This open-world action RPG is set to hit US shores sometime in 2025, and if the early footage is anything to go by, we're in for something special. Picture this. You're wandering through a land that looks like it was painted by masters, where serene bamboo forests meet political intrigue so thick you could cut it with a katana. The game already hit 3 million downloads in China within 4 days. That's faster than I go through my monthly gaming budget, which is saying something. What makes Where Winds Meet particularly interesting is how it blends traditional Chinese martial arts with that satisfying open-world exploration we all crave. It's like having a history lesson, but instead of falling asleep in class, you're performing gravity-defying sword combos while riding through landscapes that make your desktop wallpaper look like crayon drawings. The political conflict element adds this layer of complexity that goes beyond just go here, kill that. You're navigating territorial disputes and power struggles that would make Game of Thrones characters take notes. Plus, early reports suggest the world is absolutely massive. We're talking about the kind of game where you start heading to a quest marker, and 3 hours later you're somehow taming wild horses and learning ancient recipes from hermit monks. Coming in at number 9, we have Onimusha, Way of the Sword. And this is where things get spicy. Set for a 2026 release, this revival of the classic Onimusha series is like opening a time capsule filled with demon-slaying goodness. Except now it's been upgraded with modern open-world sensibilities. The story follows a samurai wielding something called the Oni Gauntlet, which sounds about as metal as it gets. It's basically like having a supernatural Swiss Army knife that happens to excel at turning demons into ethereal confetti. The original Onimusha games were known for their tight, focused experiences, so seeing this franchise expand into open-world territory is like watching your favorite indie band suddenly decide to headline Coachella. What's got me particularly excited is how they're handling the mythology. Japanese folklore is rich with creatures and stories that are perfect for an open-world setting. Imagine exploring a feudal Japan where every forest might hide a yokai, every mountain could conceal an ancient shrine, and every village has its own supernatural mystery to unravel. It's like Assassin's Creed Japan, but with more demons and significantly more style. The combat system promises to blend traditional swordplay with supernatural abilities granted by the Oni Gauntlet. Early concept art suggests we'll be dealing with massive boss battles that span multiple areas of the world. Think Shadow of the Colossus, but instead of gentle giants, you're fighting creatures that crawled out of nightmares and decided to major in violence. At number 8, we have Project the Perceiver, and this is where things get mystical. Details are still scarcer than decent microtransaction practices, but what we do know has me more intrigued than a cat watching a laser pointer. This is an open-world game heavily inspired by Chinese mythology, and the premise alone sounds like someone took Journey to the West and decided it needed more existential depth. You're tasked with freeing ancient beings while unlocking your own powers, which is basically the perfect setup for that gradual power progression that makes open-world games so addictive. It's like leveling up in an RPG, except instead of gaining generic sword skills, you're literally awakening cosmic abilities that were locked away since the dawn of civilization. Chinese mythology is incredibly rich source material for this kind of experience. We're talking about stories with dragons that control weather, immortals who can reshape reality, and landscapes that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It's the kind of lore that makes Norse mythology look like a children's picture book. No offense to Thor, but when you're dealing with concepts like the Jade Emperor and the celestial bureaucracy, Asgard starts looking like a small town. The perceiver aspect of the title suggests this might be a game about perspective and reality, potentially dealing with multiple layers of existence that you can perceive and interact with as you grow more powerful. Imagine if the Matrix had been set in ancient China and focused on spiritual enlightenment rather than fighting machines. That level of mind-bending potential has me more excited than finding a working Day 1 patch. Sliding into lucky number 7 is the Fable reboot. And this is the gaming equivalent of getting back together with your high school sweetheart, except they've been working out, got a better job, and learned how to cook. Playground Games is taking over from Lionhead Studios, and everything we've seen suggests they understand what made the original Fable game special while adding their own modern open-world expertise. For those who missed the original Fable trilogy, imagine a world where your moral choices actually matter, but instead of being subtle about it, the game literally changes your appearance based on your decisions. Be evil long enough and you'll sprout horns and start looking like you belong in a death metal band. Be good and you'll practically glow with righteousness. It's character development that you can see in the mirror. The reboot promises to maintain that signature British humor that made the originals so charming. We're talking about a fantasy world where NPCs make jokes about your fashion choices, where chickens might be involved in epic quests, and where the concept of heroism is treated with just enough irreverence to keep things interesting. It's like Terry Pratchett wrote a video game, but with more interactive chicken kicking. What's particularly exciting is how Playground Games, known for their work on Forza Horizon, might handle the open world. These are developers who know how to make traversal feel satisfying and worlds feel alive. Their Forza games have some of the most beautiful and dynamic open worlds in racing games, so applying that expertise to a fantasy setting could result in an Albion that feels more living and breathing than ever before. The magic system alone has potential to be something special. Original Fable let you combine spells in creative ways, and early footage suggests the reboot is expanding on this concept significantly. Imagine exploring a world where every tree, rock, and unfortunate bandit could be part of your magical experimentation. Number 6 brings us Ghost of Yotei. And this is like if Sucker Punch Productions looked at Ghost of Tsushima and said, you know what this needs? More snow and a completely different protagonist. Set in the 1603 Hokkaido, this sequel trades the Mongol invasion for a story about a new ghost entirely. And the setting change alone has me more hyped than a kid on Christmas morning. Hokkaido in 1603 is a fascinating choice. While Ghost of Tsushima dealt with foreign invasion, Yotei is set during a period of internal change in Japan, the early Edo period when the country was establishing new social orders and dealing with internal conflicts. It's like switching from fighting external threats to navigating the complex politics of a society in transition. More nuanced, potentially more personal, and definitely more complex. The environmental shift from Tsushima's temperate climate to Hokkaido's harsh winters opens up entirely new gameplay possibilities. Snow affects stealth differently than tall grass. Frozen rivers create new traversal options. Blizzards could provide natural cover but also pose survival challenges. It's like the difference between playing a stealth game in a garden versus playing one during a natural disaster. Both are valid, but they require completely different approaches. What's got me particularly excited is the protagonist change. While Jin Sakai's story was fantastic, introducing a new ghost means new fighting styles, new philosophies, and new approaches to the Ghost Warrior concept. Early hints suggest this protagonist might have a different relationship with the supernatural elements that made the originals so compelling. Maybe less reluctant acceptance of ghostly tactics, more embracing of the supernatural from the beginning. The original Ghost of Tsushima had some of the most beautiful open-world design in gaming, with visual storytelling that rivaled actual films. Applying that same attention to detail to snow-covered landscapes, frozen forests, and the unique culture of historical Hokkaido could result in something truly special. Plus, imagine those photo mode screenshots with Aurora Borealis in the background. At number 5, we have The Elder Scrolls 6, and talking about this game is like discussing Bigfoot. Everyone knows it exists, everyone's excited about it, but actual concrete details are rarer than a polite conversation in a multiplayer lobby. Todd Howard and Bethesda Game Studios have been dropping hints about this one like breadcrumbs, and every crumb has the potential to sustain an entire ecosystem of speculation. What we do know is that this is being built on the Creation Engine 2, which sounds like someone took the original Creation Engine, and gave it a college education and a gym membership. The original engine was like that reliable old car that gets you where you need to go but makes concerning noises the entire time. The new version promises to fix those issues while maintaining the mod ability that makes Elder Scrolls games immortal. The setting remains a mystery wrapped in an enigma, locked in a chest that requires a lock-picking skill of 100 to open. Popular theories suggest either Hammerfell, High Rock, or both, which would give us deserts, political intrigue, and enough lore to fill several libraries. Hammerfell would mean Redguard culture taking center stage, desert cities, curved swords, and a society that values martial prowess above almost everything else. High Rock would mean Breton politics, which is basically Game of Thrones but with more magic and slightly less incest. The real question is how Bethesda will innovate on the Elder Scrolls formula. Skyrim was groundbreaking in 2011, but open-world games have evolved significantly since then. We've seen The Witcher 3 raise the bar for side quest quality, Breath of the Wild revolutionize exploration mechanics, and Red Dead Redemption 2 set new standards for world detail. Elder Scrolls 6 needs to acknowledge these advances while maintaining what makes Elder Scrolls unique. The modding community alone will probably add another decade to this game's lifespan. Elder Scrolls mods have transformed everything from graphics to gameplay to complete story overhauls. Coming in at number 4 is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and this is where Hideo Kojima looks at conventional game design, laughs quietly to himself, and then creates something that makes you question the nature of existence while delivering packages. Set for release on June 26, 2025, this sequel promises to expand on the original's unique blend of social commentary, surreal storytelling, and the most zen delivery gameplay ever conceived. The original Death Stranding was like if Amazon delivery services existed in a post-apocalyptic world, designed by Salvador Dali and written by someone who'd spent too much time thinking about human connection in the digital age. It's the only game where walking simulator isn't an insult, it's a badge of honor. Death Stranding 2 promises to expand on the original's themes while introducing new mechanics and story elements. Early footage suggests we'll be dealing with new types of supernatural threats, evolved BTs, beach things, and expanded traversal options. The original game's ladder and rope sharing system created a unique form of asynchronous multiplayer cooperation, and the sequel looks to build on this concept in ways that might redefine how we think about player interaction. What makes this particularly exciting is how it sits at the intersection of art and entertainment. This isn't just a game, it's Kojima's commentary on isolation, connection, and purpose in modern society, wrapped in a package that somehow makes carrying cargo feel like the most important thing you've ever done. It's philosophical without being pretentious, weird without being alienating, and challenging without being frustrating. The technical aspects alone should be impressive. The original Death Stranding was a showcase for the Decima engine, with some of the most photorealistic environments ever rendered. The sequel, running on presumably upgraded technology, could set new benchmarks for visual fidelity in open-world games. Plus, if the original soundtrack by Low Roar and others is any indication, the audio design will be equally impressive. Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is Borderlands 4, and this is like if Gearbox looked at the current state of the world and said, you know what we need? More chaos, but the fun kind with better loot. Set for release on September 23, 2025, this return to Pandora promises to bring back everything we love about the series, while adding new mechanics that could redefine the looter-shooter genre. The Borderlands series has always been the gaming equivalent of that friend who's absolutely insane, but in the most entertaining way possible. It's a universe where psychotic bandits deliver philosophical monologues, where guns have personalities more developed than most RPG protagonists, and where the concept of too many explosions is fundamentally misunderstood because there's no such thing. What's particularly exciting about Borderlands 4 is the potential for evolution in the series formula. The previous games established Pandora as a character in itself, a hostile world that somehow breeds both the most dangerous criminals and the most unlikely heroes. This new entry promises to expand on that world building, while introducing new planets, new vault hunters, and presumably new ways to turn enemies into colorful particle effects. The co-op gameplay that defines Borderlands has always been about shared chaos. The kind of experience where you and your friends start a simple mission and somehow end up in a 3-hour adventure involving stolen vehicles, accidental friendly fire, and debates about loot distribution that rival international peace negotiations. Borderlands 4 looks to refine this experience with better balancing, more diverse character builds, and hopefully fewer situations where one player accidentally picks up everyone else's loot. The writing and humor that made the series famous will be crucial. The best Borderlands games balance absurdist humor with genuine character development, and surprisingly deep lore. When done right, you're laughing at Claptrap's latest malfunction, while simultaneously invested in the larger story about corporate greed, personal redemption, and the search for purpose in a hostile universe. Claiming the silver medal at number 2 is 007 First Light, and this is where IO Interactive takes everything they learned from making the perfect assassination sandbox in Hitman and applies it to the world's most famous secret agent. Just unveiled at Sony's State of Play this week, this 2026 release represents a complete reimagining of James Bond's origin story. And if the early footage is anything to go by, we're in for something spectacular. IO Interactive choosing to do a Bond origin story is like getting Christopher Nolan to direct a superhero movie. You know it's going to be both familiar and completely fresh at the same time. This isn't just another licensed game trying to cash in on a popular franchise. This is the studio that redefined stealth gameplay, creating their own take on the most iconic spy in entertainment history. What makes this particularly exciting is how IO's design philosophy aligns perfectly with what makes Bond stories compelling. The Hitman games are all about infiltration, improvisation, and making the impossible look effortless, which is basically James Bond's entire career description. Imagine taking Agent 47's methodical approach to problem solving and combining it with Bond's wit, gadgets, and considerably better social skills. The First Light subtitle suggests we're seeing Bond before he becomes the 007 we know from the films. This is potentially Bond earning his status, which means we might get to experience his transformation from talented agent to legendary spy. It's like a superhero origin story, but instead of getting powers from a radioactive spider bite, you're getting them from MI6 training and an unhealthy relationship with danger. IO Interactive has proven they can create open worlds that feel like elaborate puzzles waiting to be solved. Their approach to level design, where every location has multiple entry points, countless ways to approach objectives, and secrets hidden in plain sight, could translate beautifully to Bond's world of international espionage. Think about classic Bond locations like casinos, embassy parties, or villain lairs, but designed with IO's signature attention to interactive detail. The timing couldn't be better either. We haven't had a truly great Bond game since GoldenEye on the N64, and IO Interactive might be the only studio with the design chops to finally break that curse. Plus, creating an original Bond story means they're not constrained by existing film plots. They can craft scenarios specifically designed to showcase what makes interactive Bond experiences unique. And claiming the top spot on our list is Grand Theft Auto 6. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Didn't this get delayed to 2026? You're absolutely right. Rockstar pushed the release date to May 26, 2026, which means it technically falls outside our 2025 window, but here's the thing. This delay actually makes it more likely to be GOTY material, not less. Think about it this way. Rockstar took a game that was already generating unprecedented hype and said, "We need more time to make this perfect." That's like Gordon Ramsay saying his signature dish needs more seasoning. When someone who's already known for excellence asks for more time to achieve excellence, you pay attention. GTA 6 represents the return to Vice City after more than a decade, and everything we've seen suggests Rockstar is treating this like the gaming equivalent of a moon landing. The leaked footage, which got people fired but also broke the internet, showed a level of detail and immersion that made Red Dead Redemption 2 look like a warm-up exercise. What makes GTA 6 particularly exciting is how it's arriving at a time when open-world design has evolved significantly. Rockstar pioneered many of the conventions that other developers have since refined and innovated upon. Now they're returning with the benefit of seeing how the genre has evolved, and early indications suggest they're not just catching up. They're preparing to leapfrog everyone else entirely. The setting itself, a modern take on Vice City, provides the perfect backdrop for Rockstar's signature brand of social satire. The original Vice City was a love letter to 1980s excess and Miami Vice aesthetics. A modern Vice City gives them the opportunity to comment on contemporary issues like social media culture, cryptocurrency, and the particular brand of insanity that defines modern Florida. The technical aspects alone should be groundbreaking. This is Rockstar's first ground-up current generation game, built specifically for PS5 and Xbox Series X/S hardware. If Red Dead Redemption 2 was any indication, they know how to squeeze every ounce of performance out of gaming hardware to create worlds that feel genuinely alive. The delay to 2026 actually works in its favor for Game of the Year consideration. It means the game won't have to compete with other major 2025 releases, and it gives Rockstar additional time to polish what's already shaping up to be a landmark achievement in interactive entertainment. But wait, there's more! Because I'm the kind of person who reads the credits of indie games and gets excited about experimental game design, I've got 4 wildcard picks that might just sneak up and steal some thunder from the big names. Nightingale. This Victorian-era survival game with portal-hopping mechanics is like if Jules Verne wrote a survival guide while having fever dreams about interdimensional travel. You're exploring parallel worlds through magical portals, building bases in various realms, and dealing with creatures that definitely didn't appear in any legitimate biology textbook. It's early access right now, but the potential for this to evolve into something special is enormous. Pax Day, a medieval fantasy MMO that's being described as a social sandbox, which sounds like what would happen if Minecraft and Game of Thrones had a baby and raised it on a steady diet of crafting mechanics and political intrigue. The developers are promising a world where every structure is player-built and every conflict is player-driven. It's either going to be revolutionary or complete chaos, possibly both. Dune Awakening. Based on Frank Herbert's Dune universe, this survival MMO promises to let players experience the harsh beauty of Arrakis in ways that go beyond just watching people argue about spice. You'll be managing resources, building shelters, and presumably learning to walk without rhythm to avoid sandworms. If they can capture even a fraction of the source material's depth, this could be something truly special. The Quinfall. This MMORPG promises to blend multiple gameplay styles within a single persistent world. Think traditional fantasy, MMO, mixed with survival elements, base building, and large-scale PvP warfare. It's ambitious to the point of being potentially impossible, but sometimes the most ambitious projects surprise everyone. Plus, the name alone suggests they're not taking themselves too seriously, which is always a good sign. And there you have it, folks. 10 upcoming open-world games, plus 4 bonus wildcards that could absolutely dominate the Game of the Year conversation. From the mystical landscapes of Where Winds Meet to the chaotic streets of Vice City, we're looking at a lineup that's more diverse and ambitious than any single year in gaming history. What's particularly exciting about this list is how different each entry is from the others. We've got post-apocalyptic package delivery, medieval fantasy politics, supernatural samurai action, and enough varied open worlds to satisfy every type of explorer. It's like having a gaming buffet where every dish is potentially world-class. The delays we've seen, particularly with GTA 6, actually work in everyone's favor. Instead of cramming all these incredible experiences into a single overwhelming year, they're spread out enough that we can actually give each one the attention it deserves. It's like having Christmas spread across multiple months instead of trying to open everything at once. What I find most intriguing is how each of these games is trying to push the open world genre in different directions. Some are focusing on narrative depth, others on emergent gameplay, still others on technical innovation or unique artistic vision. It suggests that open world design is still evolving, still finding new ways to surprise us. The real winners here are us, the players. We're entering a period where we'll have legitimate difficulty choosing what to play next, and that's a good problem to have. Whether you're into philosophical package delivery, supernatural martial arts, or just good old-fashioned digital mayhem, there's something on this list that'll scratch that particular itch. So here's my challenge for you. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these games has you most excited. Are you team give me GTA 6 or give me death? Or are you more interested in the experimental stuff like Death Stranding 2? Maybe you're holding out for Elder Scrolls 6 like you're waiting for a mythical creature to materialize? Or perhaps one of those bonus picks caught your attention. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into upcoming open worlds, do me a solid and hit that like button. It helps the algorithm understand that people actually want to hear about games that aren't just shooters and sports sims. Plus, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm constantly digging into the latest gaming news, hidden gems, and the kind of detailed analysis that makes you think about games in new ways. If you're interested in more specific deep dives on any of these titles, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to geek out about game design, development stories, and the intersection of technology and art. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, the best open world is the one that makes you forget you're playing a game at all. Catch you in the next video.